Hey everybody, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit. We're back in the 3.5 Monster Manual, and we are on the Sea Cat. The Sea Cat is essentially a large magical beast that is like the body of a whale or a porpoise or something with a cat head. So let's see what we can do. I've got some pieces pulled out. Yes, I've been down here. I enjoyed some nicotine, and I'm drinking an adult beverage. And I have two things pulled out. I have one, I thought we could do something like that. Or two, we could do something like that. So, I don't know. This one looks a little derpy, but I kind of like it. This one's got some detail that we can't really use too much of, but I do like that. There was another option. I'll pull it out. I didn't pull it out at the time. Oh my, I broke this box, by the way. The edge of this box is snapped. Where's that other cat I had? I had another one. I decided not to go with it, and I threw it back in here, and now I can't seem to find it. Oh, this one. But I thought its body was a little thin for what I was trying to accomplish, but I thought it would look good. We might be able to try that and make it work yet. I have tons of tigers and cats and stuff in here, so I mean, obviously I'm not hurting for options, but you know, I don't know what you have. This is from recently from the Dollar Tree, so you might have one of those laying around. We can use that since that's the case. But again, I told you it's a little thinner. So, all right, I already have a base prepared. So let's start by cutting these guys in half. So let's take him from the back leg back and kind of the middle part of him here where it's a little thicker. And then let's take the front of him off. And obviously keep what we don't use, because we can use it in another craft possibly. Okay. I'd like that to be bent a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to just kind of hold that there at an angle a little bit and hope that it keeps some of that shape as it cools. All right. Now, ideally, you would clamp something like this and then, you know, come back to it later. But I don't have that luxury at the moment. So let's look at how that would connect there. Something like that. Let's take these off, these fins, because these guys don't have flippers. I'm just going to get a little retractable blade here and skim some of that off. Just so it's less to hide later. Okay. Now I want this twisted a little bit that way too. So to fix that, what I'll do is I'll just take off some of this at an angle. And then I'm going to take off a little bit of this down here. I'm just going to get a dab of glue there to hold it in place. Something like that. I'm going to twist this a little bit, just get a better fit. Now we need to fill in that gap, and to do that, the easiest thing to do would be to get a bead of glue. Kind of work that into it, just back and forth, and fill that in some. Now, there's another part of these, they don't have a fin on their back. We're going to take that off too. I'm going to skim that up too, just to round that off a little bit. I'm not doing any kind of master crafting here. We don't want to get it too much into turning this into a sculpting project. So another interesting thing about these dudes is they have a silky hair that runs down the center of their back. So to capture that, I'm going to start at the head here. And I'm going to drag this back and forth down the seam. And then as that cools, we can do more with it. But for now, what we're going to do is kind of drag it down to simulate the hairs. And then as it cools more, we'll come back in and do some detail on those. Okay, now we'll let that cool for a minute. And to mount it on the base, I don't think that the answer is to just do that. I think the answer is to have it like it's swimming. So what we'll do is we'll make a little flight stand for it out of a toothpick. All right, to get that started, I'm just going to get a little bit of super glue, or hot glue, and kind of get it where I want it, and make sure it's straight up and down. And then I'm going to leave that sit for a moment. Let's come back to him. He should be cool enough to adjust this to add the hair detail in a little better. And I'm just going to use my glue, my hot glue gun, and shove it in and create as much hair texture as I can coming off his back in both directions. Let me move my camera because you can't see it. There we go. And I'm just creating hair texture by using the hot glue tip and dragging it through there. Okay. I'm going to do that on this side too. And that's going to be the hair. Now, on the sides here where we fattened them out, there's a little texture we don't want, and we're going to clean this up with that. We're just going to drag that around and melt that texture off. Okay. I need a little bit more over here. Fatten that up a little bit. Now, for this sides, you want to watch you don't hit the hair with this. For these sides, if you really want to clean that texture up good, you can get this minor burning hand spell going. Kind of melt that into oblivion. Okay. All right. So let's get this situated and sturdy. And to do that, we're just going to get some super glue. Run it down the base. It's pretty sturdy now. We're going to need a little bit of weight, however. So let me see if I can't find some rocks. Where did I put the rocks? So we're just going to get a couple big rocks and find the flattest spot we can and try to put those in a little pyramid, or triangle I should say. There we go. And then just get your glue and squirt it down in there and let it kind of fall where it falls. Let that settle down in. Something like that. You can get like a little one. If you have a little piece. Okay. No, that's too big. You get my other rocks. Here we go. These are some smaller rocks. Whoops. That's all right. It just burns a little bit. That's okay. And we'll just leave those on there. All right, that's pretty much invincible at this point. And let's get our sea cat. Put it on there how we want it. All right, sorry. There's some neighbors yelling across the street, and I'm glad I didn't have to go get involved. Stopped. Okay, something like that. So what I'm going to do is get some super glue around that hole. I'm going to shove it in there and hope that dries it in place pretty good. I'm going to get a little sprinkle of baking soda down here around where any glue could have been. And let's deal with spider webs and talk about a paint job. All right, so as far as paint jobs go, green is kind of the way to go on these guys because their artwork shows that they're green. I'm just grabbing any kind of glue that's sticking up anywhere, hot glue that's laying around. There we go. Now, as far as detail goes, as far as their teeth and stuff like that, I don't have a good way to do it without adding a lot of time to this project. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to black bond real quick. And that's not a phenomenal undercoat, but it's going to make sure everything sticks to them well, and that's what matters. And let's base coat his base in brown, and then we'll do him in a dark green or something. We'll see. Let's do the base in brown first. Soft brush. Need some wetness. Let's get in here and brown this up. Okay. Let's hit this with a +2 hotter gun. Burn it and dry up all that brown before we start on him or her. I'm going to get a medium size 3 brush, and I'm going to get a dark green. Maybe I'm going to get a dark green. There we go. Arbor green. This is pretty dark. All right. All right, so I'm sure I haven't hit every little square milli-inch of him, but that's pretty much what we need to cover there. Now, as I'm dry brushing this guy down and lightening him up, I'm not going to worry about getting on these rocks, because these are underwater rocks, and there's going to be some blues and greens and other colors on them, most likely. All right. Cardboard. Look at that. Just like new. I'm going to get a really soft makeup brush to use for my next step. And I'm going to get a medium green. This is called Kelly Green. And I actually don't just want Kelly Green. I want to add a little bit of blue to this. And for my blue, I'm using this turquoise, which doesn't seem to have much green in it for being a turquoise. Okay. I hit those rocks on purpose. Okay, now we're going to lighten that up a little bit. This is called palm leaf. Oh, that's way too much. I did not realize it was going to be that soft and wet. Okay, then I'm going to do one real light color. This is called Limeade. Well, do I have anything that's got a bluish in it? What's this? Laguna. Let's try this Laguna. I don't want it to be overwhelmingly blue. There we go. I don't know if you guys can see those all the way up there. So it's just a light green and a little bit of a blue. Okay. I think that looks okay. Hit the base up some spots. And I'm going to set that off to the side. I'm going to get a small brush. And for his silky hair, I'm going to get this dark blue-gray. I just stuck this brush in my mouth so it's damp. I'm going to paint the hair. Okay. I'm getting a crappy brush. Which one? Something crappy like this. I'm gonna hit that with a hot air gun. And this is called Elephant Gray. I'm just gonna get a little dibby dab of that. I just kind of drag that along and enrich that hair texture a little bit with it. Okay, then I'm going to hit the rocks with this too. Some. All right, now let's get a bigger brush, something that we can work with, like my size 3 brush, and let's work on the base. So for the base, I'm mixing 2 colors, khaki and yellow. But first I'm going to do a just khaki color, a coat, and then we'll come back and do a khaki and yellow. right, so I'm just going to get a makeup brush, something that's a little soft and this yellow. And I was going to mix it with the khaki, but I think what I'm going to do instead of mixing it is I'm just going to get a tiny little bit and mix it around. I'm going to hit these rocks with it a little bit more and lighten them up and make them a little different than the model. But I'm doing more of like a pushing move than a dragging. Because I want to push some of it into the cracks, but I don't want to... I want the rock to look like it's got some yellow to it. Okay? Okay. And there's something else I want to do on here too. I want to get some blue. Some watered down clear blue. Not clear, light blue. I'm just going to take a little bit of that. And I'm going to get some water in my brush. And then I want to paint one of these rocks where this blue kind of sits in it on each side. It'll dry and just leave little remnants of blue. I'm thinking. I don't really know what I'm talking about here. Okay. Something like that. All right, so he's got some eyes. Let's look at the reference art. So let's go back into the monster manual. And his eyes are black. Ooh, shiny. This black dot. Size 1 tiny brush. It's really not that tiny, really, but it's a size 1 brush. And I don't remember their nose, what their nose looked like, but I know they had some, their claws were black, so I'm just going to make some little lines to simulate claws. And then one last thing. I'm going to do a metallic black over the eyes once those kind of dry. And I'm going to get a dark blue. And do that outer edge of the base to simulate that it's in the ocean. And I don't know if that really brings anything to the miniature or not. It's just something I'd like to try. I'm just following up to the edge of where that sand is and where the untextured plastic is the part that's getting painted. And I'm not perfect, but that's okay. I'm going to go around the outside with that real easy, real quick. So if you like what I'm doing here on the channel, please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell icon. Leave me a comment. I do like the comments. The other stuff obviously helps, but the comments seem to be the thing I enjoy because I can interact with you guys a little bit. We do have a Discord. It's the Dungeon Swag Discord because I am one half of the two gentlemen that sell miniatures out of their basements. We are not a big corporation. We're a little small company. But on our Discord, you can share the things you're working on, that you're crafting, that you're painting, that you're carving, that you're forging, and we love to see it there. So please come to our Discord. There's a link in the description. Also, if you would like to support me in any way, just buy miniatures from us at Dungeon Swag, and that'll help grow Dungeon Swag up big and strong. I don't really need money for the channel here, I don't think. I just kind of do this out of my basement for fun. But if you support Dungeon Swag, it encourages me to want to do this more. So I'm just going to get one last thing here real quick before I dry him off. I'm not going to do any flocking, but I am going to get a black metallic and touch those eyes real quick. Just to give them that little... Okay. So let's take a look at the sea cat one last time. Let's have a drink of my drink here real quick too. So there's the sea cat. It's on flight stand because it's swimming. And you could paint that flight stand blue or something, but mine's pretty dark and not real noticeable, so I'm leaving it be. I did the same thing with my rock. I didn't paint the flight stand. It kind of made it more camouflage than if I had tried to paint it all black. So, all right, so that's what we got. Let's look at the book one more time. See what the sea cat is supposed to look like. Something like that. All right, cool. And then next thing we're on is the shadow, which is a 2D enemy. Ooh. Hey, this has been Doom from Dungeons and Doom Biscuits, and I'd like to thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.